Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, in our lives. Let's jump right on in. I'm Annie, and joining me in Everything is Minna.
So we're about 3 weeks away from
3 weeks for New Year's, yes.
Of course, this is the time that we start reflecting on what we did last year. This year, and set goals for the next year. That what gets in the way of reaching your goals year after year after year.
Yeah, there's always that couple of goals that you always set, and you keep resetting it year after year, and you just seem to keep missing it. And I think one that I can say I'm guilty for is just relying on willpower, just trying to will it to happen, and sometimes that helps if you're putting action into it, right?
Well, when we used to go to the gym, of course, January 1st is when the parking lot is completely full, right?
Yes.
And then, for the first 2 weeks is always full, and then eventually it dies down, and then by the end of March, I guess,
Yeah, if you're
there's
lucky.
nobody in the gym at all, right? So, everybody does the same thing. They're all gun ho. I'm going to rely on their willpower. I'm going to gym every day, and guess what? By the third month, I'm sure not all of them hit their goals, whatever that may be, but you just gave up.
Exactly, exactly. And what is the most second one that most people feel on the goals?
I think relating to willpower is the ego that we all have. We all think that I can do this. I can do this. Year after year, you keep telling yourself the story that you can do it. I can do it. I can go to the gym every day. I can do. I don't know what is it that you do at the gym. Anyways, it's a kind of related to how you say I have the willpower to do this. But you only have so much willpower, and if you don't know why you're setting your goals, eventually that willpower goes away, and that's why the parking lot is empty.
So, I think like you're just digging into our ego. You need a deeper why, not to just rely on your willpower and ego, but why you need to accomplish these goals rather than just setting something on paper that may have no meaning to your life, right?
Yeah, so everybody wants to look good. I guess one of the more common goals for New Year's is, want to look good in a swimsuit or something like that,
Right.
right? So, I guess it's a very, I would say it's not a very deep why you want to look good. Is it, I don't know, are you looking for someone? Are you looking for, just to look good so you're going on the stage or something? So you need a deeper purpose as to why you want to look good. It's not just to look yourself in the mirror in the morning and say, hey, I look better.
That is true. That is true. It is so funny. We're heading back to the Bay Area next week, and it's been interesting because some of our friends we probably haven't seen for quite a few years, and I'm sort of excited to see them again next week. But of course, I have to do a little bit of Facebook stalking to see how everyone is and who's still on social media, if they're still doing the same things that we used to do together as friends. And on the topic of looking good, like what you're talking about, it's surprising how some people they look about the same as when we left, and others not so much. And I'll just leave it at that, right? So I think when you're setting your goals on looking good, it has to be a little deeper. Is it looking good to have better health, or looking good to be superficial, like you said? Right. And, some of the people I just look at pictures, well, not only did they look a lot older in the 3 years that are gone, they look really unhealthy. Right. So, I think that's really important to figure out that health aspect of it too.
So, let's talk about why there are a lot of reasons why you cannot reach your goals, right? One of them being this thing about being perfect.
Hmm.
That people want to be perfect. I want to be perfect doing this. I want to look perfect. I want to be perfect. Perfectionism is an illusion. There's no such thing as perfectionism. There's no such thing as being perfect. The only thing you can do to yourself is to be better than you yesterday.
I agree. And I think so many people are guilty for this, regardless what the goal is. It could be It could be health related, right? I'm going to perfect this diet before I do it. Or it could be even starting a new business. Like, I'm just going to do this and this and this. And when it's going to be perfect, then I'm going to start my business, right? I think so many people are waiting for that perfect time, that perfect circumstance to just click. And like you said, there's no such thing. You just have to just get it out there. And, the way I look at it is tweak it as you go, because there's no way of knowing how far you are from that target until you actually start the work, right?
And it's funny because when you talk about starting a new business, a lot of people is actually stuck on finding the perfect logo.
Oh,
So,
no kidding.
they're stuck, you can't get to find the best logo, you cannot start the business, it's not going to work, and they gave up.
Right. And then the second one, I think, is the perception of failure. I think a lot of people, they already fail in their minds before the business even gets started.
Yeah, I mean, they tell them stories why they're going to fail, and when they actually do fail, they see it as a defeat. They don't see
Hmm.
it as a chance of learning, as a chance to do better next time. So your perception of how you look at failure is critical on whether you're going to reach your goals or not, right? Because you know what, you're going to fail along the way.
Correct. And, the most important is learning from your failures so you can improve upon that path, right? Because no one knows the perfect path to going where you need to be, right? The next one, how about focusing on the end result? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so your goals may look really good and it might be really big. So if you're looking at a goal that far away, eventually you lose sight of it, right?
Hmm.
And when you can't focus on it because it's so far away, you don't know if you're at $0, you don't know how to get to $1 million. So if other than focusing on the end result, which is so far away, set up milestones.
Hmm.
$1,000, $10,000, whatever that may be for you. It could be just 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever that may be
Correct.
for you. Do milestones along the way so you can focus on a midpoint goal, I guess, right?
Exactly. And I think those milestones you're talking about, you definitely need to celebrate those milestones,
For
right?
sure.
You got the first step. Guess what? Now you got 10 more levels to climb. Well, you climb the first level, get to the second level, but celebrate each level of those milestones.
Yeah.
And I think the next big one why people fail to reach their goals is just excuses and excuses and excuses, right?
Yes, you younger people here. I'm talking about you. All these excuses I hear from my nephews and my nieces. I'm like, oh my god, excuses again. It's like I can do this. The weather's not right. It's too hot. It's too cold. I'm too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, too. I don't know. My legs are too long. I don't know what other excuses they come up with. It's
Internet's too slow. My phone's too old. My camera doesn't take good pictures.
right. My hair's not looking good today. Whatever it is. There's so many excuses. When you're so full of excuses, you don't have room to put your goals anywhere in your life because it's already filled up with excuses.
And one I think that all of us is a little bit guilty on is procrastination, right? I'm definitely guilty on that. It's coming up the end of the year. There's a few things that I want to get done, and I'm not quite there yet. But I guess setting new goals for the new year.
Yeah, that's like kind of your boxing, right?
Exactly.
So rather than looking at the end goal of 10 chapters, look at one chapter at a time. That could be your midpoint goals.
Exactly. And the last one I think we should all focus on is the lack of focus.
Yes. Social media, you're going to have to cut it off somehow because when you're looking at other people's life, you're not focusing on your own life.
And it always makes you feel guilty that your life isn't as good as theirs. And what you see on social media is never the real life of anyone anyway.
Sure. So, focus on your own life, set your goals, keep focus on your life, on your own goals, set midpoint goals, and celebrate it.
Sounds good. We'll be right back. We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy later years with energy, vitality, and good health. But so often with age, our bodies show signs of things just aren't the same as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing recovery time, and sleep all go downhill. If you had physical trauma that happened to your body like I did, this happens much faster. I felt like a 30-year-old trapped in an 80-year-old body. But do you remember as kids the boundless energy we had, how fast we recovered? This is not because of getting old, but because of active stem cells inside our bodies. These are the cells that can generate and regenerate all the cells and structures in the human body. They are the building blocks of our organs, tissues, blood, and immune system. They also serve as an innate repair system everywhere inside the body. But as we get older, stem cell activity slows down, become less effective in repairing damage, and decline. By the age of 20, we only have 1 billion stem cells left. By 30, they decline by 60%. By 50, they decline by 75%. 60 by 9%. And by 80, we're lucky to have 50 million active stem cells. But what if we can naturally stimulate our bodies to reactivate and regenerate new stem cells through phototherapy without drugs? Now we can with our LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patches. Reclaim your youth and look younger, feel stronger, perform better, and heal faster. Get your patches now at lifewave.com/chronically healthy life. It's not anti-aging, it is reverse aging.
Hey everybody, for today's Kids Corner, I wanted to continue our discussion since we're in December and it's the crazy season. So in the same vein as last week's discussion of would you rather do this or would you rather do that, and picking only those things which you would prefer to do, simplifying is never a bad thing. I think it's a mistake to think we have to do it all. We really don't. Who said we have to do it all? So I wanted to share that one year what I did is I had a big Christmas party, and I got so overwhelmed with the idea of all the baking and cooking and everything. And finally I took a step back and I thought, there's no way I'm going to get this done. So I decided instead to turn it into something more fun. So I invited all the families that were invited to bring their favorite Christmas treats that they made with their kids to bring and then share. Instead of me having to do everything, everybody loved it. They brought stuff to share. The kids got to talk about what they did and how and what they liked when they were out playing their games. And we also, instead of doing presents for everybody, we did a white elephant gift exchange, which was a lot more fun because there's a game attached to it. And then that takes all the pressure off for you to shop and shop and shop. Saves you a lot of money, and it engages people in a much more fun and organic way. So think about that. Think about how can you simplify this season and your life in general and bring your kids into it. Make it fun because they need to grow up learning real life skills. It's not automatic, and it can just be such a joyful, fun time. Hello, and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. We have a wonderful guest for today, the lovely Kaye Griggs. Kaye is a native Houstonian. That's a new word on me. She graduated from Westbury High School in 1975. She worked for Sears, ADP, BFI, and her last gig was with Enron. Oh my. So after that, she actually started her own business called KK's Cooking. And that is something that she has loved to do since she was 7-8 years old. She's not classically trained. She's a home cook, but you know, I've seen home cooks on some of those baking shows, and they do real well. So Kaye, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's a joy. I love to cook. So when you can't find a job, you go to the next best thing. Open your own.
Seriously.
Yes.
I bet you've been a lot happier ever since. Well, tell us, KK's Cooking. What kinds of wonderful things do you cook up at KK's?
We cook a lot of Southern classics, but healthier than we used to eat them. Like a meatloaf can be made with turkey meat, and you really don't know the difference by the time I get through seasoning it up, and it's cooked exactly like a meatloaf would be. So I like to keep Southern classics, the comfort foods in people's minds and in their tummies.
Oh, well, comfort food, there is nothing better. Now,
Yes.
do you have a restaurant or do you cater or how do you get your food out to the world?
I cater. I keep it close to home because I don't drive. But I can cater. The people that I make meals for, they actually do a survey. We figure out what they want. I cook it for them. And then they come pick it up. And it's packaged like they would like it. You got lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever you like is what we can handle for you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That what a good service that is.
Yes.
Real home cooking.
Real home cooking. Yes.
Done for you. Oh, that's
Yes.
wonderful. Well, uh, I want to tell our audience that Kaye is very special. She is not just a cook; she's a very special cook. And Kaye, I understand that you had a major life change right about March of 2017.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you want
I
to
do.
share what's your story? What happened around that time?
Around that time, I was found unconscious by my mom, and paramedics thought it was a heart attack. But by the time we got to the hospital and they started running tests, and I had a very high fever, 105.7, they were like, no, something else is wrong. Scan showed a 4 centimeter kidney stone lodged. It's not going through. So in the meantime, I was put in a coma, packed in ice bags like a burn victim, and spent 2 weeks in that coma, not knowing what was going on in my life. Thankfully, my mom and my sisters know what was going on. But they had to get everything close to normal before they get to do surgery. So I ended up having a surgery to blast the kidney stone like March 26th or 7th. Then 2 days later, I had amputations because I had gone septic thanks to that kidney stone. So life change was I lost all my toes, my right hand, and 2 fingers on my left hand. And yes, I was right-handed all my life.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Must have been absolutely devastating. Was
It could have been if I stayed there. I was determined not to stay. I made the decision for the amputations, like, let's just do it. So by then I think right after that, it's like, nope, we gotta battle it. Yes, there was a whole lot of pain, but I gave up painkiller a day after surgery. I was like, I'm done. Let's just stop it. Um, the heavy stuff. They did give me a mild one because they were having to teach me how to walk again. I had to learn life. If you if you
yeah.
had a down, you got to get back up. So I had to pick up my boots, even though I can't wear them, but I had to do life. I had to learn life all over again.
I can imagine, especially if you're right-handed.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Well, we talk about wellness here on the show. Our whole thing is that wellness encompasses all of us. It's our physical bodies, our mental state, our emotional state, our spirituality,
Yes.
our financial lives, our families, friends, community, everything.
Yes.
And your spirit, the spirit that you showed. I mean, I don't know very many people that would have taken themselves off painkillers the day after massive major surgery like that. So, wow.
Yes.
I might have given it a week at least.
I know 2 days later they had me up trying to get me out of bed. So
Oh wow.
but
How long did it take you to get to where you were able to walk and start to function?
had PT every day, and that took, I'm going to say, probably right around Easter that year of 2017. I actually had gone completely down the hallway with help, because I couldn't go by myself, but I had a PT person and a friend. And I was like, nope, let's go down the hall. So, of course, we walked completely down the hall. I was in Memorial Southwest, completely down the hall and back to my room with no breaks. So it took about 2.5 to 3 weeks to get that part. Then you have to train your body to do all the other things. It's just like, okay, so it's like I had to learn how to feed myself with these 3 fingers. So OT adapted a spoon. So for a year, I ate with a spoon. That's what I
Wow.
learned how to eat with.
Wow.
Forks were okay. But yeah, I was afraid I'd lose food. And okay, you really want to know the embarrassing part? I wore a bib.
I don't think that's embarrassing. I mean, I think it's worse to have dribbles down your clothes.
Yes.
A
With
bib
no
you take
dribbles, because
off.
yeah. The apron was, the bib was easier to clean. But yeah, so there were some things, and there's some things that, it's just, thankfully I had a community, because you said community. I had a community. I had a church community completely behind me.
And
So
it sounds like you have a strong family too.
yes. My mom and my sisters were there. Actually, my mom was there every day without fail. So
moms are the best.
Moms are the best. Moms are the best. Yes. So yeah, it was, challenging.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, so then at some point you got to come home, and
Yes.
then did you want to start cooking again right away, or?
Now I had to make sure I could take care of me, and that took me about 6 months. Once I got home, because I stayed with my mom for a year, and then I got home, and it was like, all right, you need to be able to do this yourself. But in the meantime, as I was coming home, I actually went to stay with a friend, because some people from the church came and they, painted the inside of my house and put new flooring in.
Oh.
So we had a cleaning party. They stripped all the carpet out, put new flooring all through the house. So it's just like, okay, I have a new house. But that was for safety, because without toes, I could trip or fall. And thank you. So far, I have not fallen. That is not on my schedule.
No.
Not on my schedule. Yeah, it's not in my schedule. But I've got, from PT and OT, I've got shoes that they have put toe fillers in, which is, I tell them, a Dr. Scholl's with a bump. So it pretends like it's toes. So I can walk. Standing is getting better. The first year was 5 minutes and I was done. I'm now about 15 minutes and then I start rocking. But people say you can't walk without toes. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
you can do
there are adaptations to be able to help you with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you manage in the kitchen then? Do you have adaptive equipment like your spoon?
I have, yes. Actually, on our favorite shopping space, I don't know how many people shop on Amazon, but that one, they have several tools that I have acquired for adaptive tools. I have mixing bowls that are weighted, so I can stir without sliding the bowl across the countertop. I have it's called a birdie knife, which is like a rocker knife, those big rockers that people get. It's a smaller one, and I can cut things with it. And I have a cutting board. It's a little small wood one, but it has a hole in the middle, so I can put tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, all that kind of stuff. My favorite knife is my bread knife, because why, I don't know, but it's the one I can handle. If I need something bigger, I can handle it. And I can use, we found some whisk that are heavy enough for me to use. So I just had to do some research and see what I could use. And if I can't do it, then I was like, nope, can't do it. But yeah, so I have found adaptive tools that do help me in the kitchen. Hot pads are wonderful, but they're made for right-handed people. So, but it's all good. I have figured out how to adapt using those. Yes, it's called.
I know that you can. I know you can get left-handed scissors. So I love my scissors in my kitchen. I use it all the time.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes.
So now, so shifting from not only from right hand to left hand, but also which it's these
The
three.
two middles are
These
missing. The two middle
two
fingers.
middles.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love you. Sign language.
So I see. I was going to get to that. This is what I see every morning. I love you. Yes.
I love you.
I love you.
That's.
Yes. So
I
see
love
this
your
every morning.
attitude.
Yeah. This is what he left me with. I love you.
Yeah.
So
you can wave at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
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 That is. I just love your spirit. Your spirit is amazing. Yes. Amazing.
Yes. And I used to actually do sign language, but I'm relearning it because one of the guys that I know said, yes, you can sign. So they make me sign when I see them. So yes.
Okay, I'm loving this story. Now, so switching, how has it been for you to adapt to using not only your left hand but with the two fingers missing? How has that been a challenge for? I would imagine it's been a huge challenge to just switching hands. I mean,
yes,
yeah,
learning how to write, and it's still difficult. There's still like a check. I can't tear out a check very well. Certain things I just can't do. I have learned now, thanks to a friend of mine, that if somebody asks, do you need help or can I help you? I've learned to say yes. That's been a hard lesson because I was always the one doing for people. So I'm learning my lesson. So yeah, I taught myself how to write. Took about 9 months. And I sat down one day with a pencil and a piece of paper and I told my mommy, I said, I'm going to write, but I have to get my first pencils because they're thicker. So you use something that's thick enough to, because I don't have the resting. And then, is it Pentel? One of the gel pens. I can use those. Other than that, some things are too thin for me to hold on to, so I can't do it. So I usually keep my own stuff with me. So if I need to sign something, I can. Cooking wise, it's just like, okay, I have to stand in the kitchen and I have to think, what am I doing and what tools do I need to use to make this work? Mm-hmm. So I get everything lined up and it's like, okay, now let's do it. And I manage. I haven't burned anything down. I haven't killed any food yet. So yeah. Yeah.
That's good. If you told me you burned down your house on top of everything else, I think I would just cry in front of our whole audience.
No, we're not going to cry. No. I'm very careful because you do get a heightened sense of awareness because it's different. The first 2 years, I was like, okay, think about it. You got it. Okay, got it. And once I put it in my head, it's like, I can do this. And I just go for it. But like I said, it's a daily challenge and sometimes I challenge myself to see, can you do this? And if I can't, okay, fine. It's not time yet. But I just got to see, am I capable? And if it's not, okay, fine. I know I can't get on a ladder. I'd love to be able to climb up and do stuff myself. I can't do that. But I have wonderful neighbors who will come over and assist if I need something up high. So, yes.
That is, especially I think in America, maybe less so in other cultures, but in America, learning to accept help and ask for it, because sometimes we get so isolated, and then we have this artificial sense of I'm all alone when you're surrounded by people.
Right.
And most people have good hearts, would love to offer a hand if given the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm so glad you're finding that. That's a wonderful, that's a huge gift. That's a gift.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I'm learning. I'm still learning.
Aren't we all? I mean, every day, right? Every day.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I think that it's safe to say that cooking is definitely your passion.
Yeah, you could say that.
What else lights you up? Like, given you've got some downtime and you can do whatever you want, what lights you up? What makes you feel happy, even if it's like reading a book? Or
actually, my other life is I am a certified track official with USATF Track and Field, and I do what they call the implement check-in, which is the shot put, discus, all that fun stuff. I make sure they're legal. So getting to be around college kids that I've seen in high school, and then they go on to college, and now I see the high schoolers that are coming in, then they go to college, I see them again. So seeing them, and I mean, I've gotten to meet some of the Olympians that have gone from high school up to Olympics. So like Randy Krauser, I know all those guys because I was their implement checker in her when they were. So that, yeah,
they're probably like, "Hey, Kaye, it's great to see you."
Yeah, they go. Well, now they go. Oh, it's going to be a good meet. It's like, excuse me, you're here. I was like, okay, and they go, hey, Miss Kaye, and if I need anything, they're right there. So there's that community again. So that is my other community. So yes, that is my other hot button. And I'm kind of a quasi team mom for the U of H track team.
Quasi. Quasi is good.
Yes.
Because that's, you get to do the fun stuff and you don't have all the pressure.
Yes. Yes. That is it. Yes. Yes. But yeah. So yeah, they U of H is their track team has been there for me and helped do what I need to do. So yeah. But to see all the kids, I mean, from different colleges, different high schools. We started January and I may see them up until July. So it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. So yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they're kids, those kids that are just, they're into sports and they're really motivated and everything. And they're just amazing. I mean,
Yes.
It's amazing. Yes. I agree with you on that. And I think it's even more amazing that their genuine heart is coming out, and here, they'll help you.
Yes.
Which,
yes.
They'll help you, they'll help other people as well. And that's a beautiful giving thing.
Yes. Yes. They're learning the art of giving. Sorry.
And you're learning the art of receiving.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I told myself, I really think that's what the lesson is. Like I said, I have no idea. I have kids that ask, they'll kind of see my prosthetic and go, what happened to your hand? So I'll just tell them, if they're younger, much, much younger, I say, oh, God needed a right hand and I let him have mine. And they're like, okay. But the older kids, I'll just say, Miss Kaye got sick and she lost her right hand. They don't notice the two fingers. And my feet are covered up, so they don't know the toes on there either. But they notice the hook, and that's usually what draws them, like, especially boys. Boys are very inquisitive.
Yeah. And they have much less a filter about
no filters.
speaking their mind. Yeah. 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 You should know, I was a teacher for like 30 years. So yeah, I'm quite familiar with the paradigm.
Used to the no filters. Yes, you're right. I was raised by a third grade teacher that taught in HISD for 50 years.
So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom,
That's
yeah, was in HISD for that long. So yes, so I'll know all about the teacher world.
that's a big topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another whole yeah, yes.
Well, so if you were gonna, you have actually right now share like what you learned or how you message would you like to send to people that from your heart that about through your experience, what kind of a message would you like to send out to the world?
Let's see. I tell the world if something happens and you're down, don't stay there. You need to get back up. You need to fight and have a purpose and just do it. There's, like I said, there's challenges every day, but you got to face them. There could be some fear, and thankfully, I'm crazy enough not to have fear. Uh, but when all happened and I came out of it, I was not worried at all about anything. Actually, what my goal then in 2017 was go to a camp that I've gone to since I was 8. I was determined not to miss camp. I
And did
was
you
like,
make it?
I made it to camp with the
Ooh,
caretaker, but I got to go to camp.
caretakers are good.
Caretakers are good. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I'm going to camp. And they were like, okay. So that was my goal.
So set a goal and don't feel
Then I
sorry for yourself.
just pull up your boots and move on.
I
Yes.
love that. I love that. Yeah. It's do you have another goal for your business, for your cooking business
The
that you'd
goal for
like
the
to?
business is to open a food truck for amputees to work on the truck. That is a goal for me.
I would totally frequent that food truck. That's amazing.
Just a
That's
little
amazing.
comfort food coming at you, girl.
Right? Everybody needs comfort food once in a while. Well, let me ask you if our audience wants to reach out to you, how can they find you?
At my email, kkkcooking@gmail.com, and that's 2 Ks, or 713-594-0816. And if I don't answer, please just leave a voicemail and I will call you back.
Excellent. That's wonderful. Kaye, you are such a beautiful, incredible soul. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for
It's
having me on the show, Christy.
absolutely an honor to meet you, really.
Yes.
Okay, audience coming up. Stay tuned for our biohacking tip of the week. Woo-hoo.
Hey everyone, we're back on the show. We're having some technical difficulties. Our ads just aren't running like they're supposed to. It's got to tell you, this new platform is driving me nuts.
So, how do you like Kaye's interview?
I think it's quite inspiring. Here she is going into the hospital with with a high fever, and it ends up she's having a kidney infection, which is like it's still not that big of a surgery going in, and then she ends up losing her toes, her right hand, and two fingers. It's like she ends up being a triple amputee. And for most people, that would be, so hard. And, that would be the end of all your goals. And yet she was able to figure out how to walk and use her, get tools and then pursue her passion of cooking again. I think that's really one of the inspiration things. If she can do it, there's no reason why any of us can't accomplish our goals.
Right? I mean, talk about, full of excuses. I mean, if you look at her, you cannot have any excuses. Let's say you're trying to learn to cook and
Yes.
you have your fingers and your toes and your hands.
Yes.
You have no excuse. If she can do it,
Yeah, like that. All she had is the left
yeah,
hand.
I
If she
mean,
can
if
cook,
she can
cut,
do it, if
there's
she
no
can burn
reason.
down her house, you could do it too. So, there's no excuse.
Exactly, exactly. So, that was very inspiring. I hope that it reached out to a lot of your people to let you realize that you can do it too, right? Stop the excuses, stop feeling sorry for yourself, because there are people out there that had it much worse than you, and they're still achieving the goals that they are. And I'm waiting for her food truck, because we'll line up for her food once she gets her food truck.
How do you say, a lot of times the worst thing that happened to you is the best thing that happened to you.
Correct.
I think in her case that is true. I would never wish for anybody for that to happen to anybody. But when things go so wrong, you manage to figure out a way to turn it over and make it work for you.
I so agree. I so agree. So, I know a lot of people, we're talking about goal setting, why people are failing the goals, why they're not reaching the goals. And I'm sure everyone's probably thinking, well, what about SMART goals, right? Like, doesn't SMART goals, every coach talks about SMART goals, and that's how you set goal setting, and it always works, right? Because they're smart.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds smart, and I know everybody talks about it. The school, even the school teacher nowadays, or the coach talks about SMART goals. And SMART, in case you don't know, it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, which sounds great, and it is right on the right track. But even when you do set SMART goals, it doesn't mean you're going to succeed, and there's something missing about it.
So, what have you wanted to set SMART goals for to improve your health? What do you think is missing out of SMART goals?
Well, one of the things about improving your health in the SMART goal area is it doesn't really tell your story. It doesn't say why you did this. Why? How does it benefit you?
Mhm.
How does it help your family if you're healthier? So there's a lot of reasons why you're doing it. That the goal itself, the SMART goal itself, it doesn't have that in it.
And what about mindset? Like, how does SMART goals work with your mindset?
It's kind of along the line with the whole ego willpower thing. If you're using sheer willpower to push yourself towards your health goal, it's not going to work unless you somehow build it into your mindset that you actually believe that what you're doing is a lifestyle change. You're actually turning your life around. So it's not something that you're just going to go for 3 months and you're not going to go gym anymore. That should be a lifestyle change. It should be forever, because it's going to benefit you for life. And something like your health is not a one-time thing and just forget about it. It's not a set and forget it, right? You keep doing it day in, day out. It's a everyday thing. So it's not something that you just do for a short time and you're set for life. That's not how it works.
That's so true. That's so true. And when it comes down to SMART goals, because you mentioned specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, what about the education aspect of it?
So, how we talked about biohacking last week?
Yes.
It's one of the components that most people don't know about, and that's something that you actually manage to educate yourself about a lot, over your last few years. And that's one of the missing components that you have to go and actually learn it. No one's going to teach you. No one's actually even going to tell you to learn it, but you have to figure out there's a missing component in your goal and how you're going to achieve your goal. And all the running and eating, I don't know,
Better.
eating better.
Yeah.
That's not going to help.
Correct.
Because you have done it before. It just doesn't work. It's not sustainable. There is something else that you need to educate yourself about. So you know what it does. You know how it works. Like this whole the keto thing. It's a fad. People think keto means eating bacon. That's not true at all. If you actually learn it, there's a much deeper um, theory about. There's a much deeper thing that you have to learn to actually appreciate what ketogenic actually means.
Exactly, exactly. And I think one of the things that we touched about a little earlier is, when you're setting any type of goals, regardless if it's a SMART goal or not, when you achieve them, I think it's important to reward yourself, right? The little rewards is what keeps you going.
So when you set up your big goal, remember we have to set up the milestones, and you reward yourself along the way without breaking your goals. Assuming it's a smart goal, don't go out and eat something that's really bad for you. That would set you off the path. But something that will reward yourself and still keep you on the path. Something that you can say, attaboy, to pat yourself on the back, saying you did a good job, and you have to keep going. That's kind of how kids learn, because you have to tell them that you're getting an A in your test, and that's how they keep learning.
It's funny what you said, because you mentioned something about like it's something your reward shouldn't backstep you for what you did. So one of my clients, she was talking about what she's been dry fasting, meaning that she's been dry, not drinking alcohol, right? And of course, she's coming up with a date night coming up, and they said, "Oh, we might just celebrate with one glass of wine." And I was like, "Well, here you are rewarding yourself for something you gave up with something that you did give up." Right. So yeah, you have to be careful for the reward. Maybe you want to reward yourself with something else rather than the stuff that was in your goal to take away from. Right. So
for sure. And you know what? Especially when you're talking about health, you have to monitor it. Look at Kaye. I mean, she went in for a kidney stone.
Yeah, she had a kidney stone, and and she comes out as a triple amputee. Like, no one will ever tell you like that something that can happen, right?
Right, but it's something that you can actually monitor by doing scans and tests and all that. So make sure you're on top of your health, because when you don't have your health, life is a lot harder.
Exactly, and it really sucks if you're living a long time, but you're suffering and not enjoying life, right? So a lot of people always say, "Hey, what about longevity? I can live a long time." I say, "Yeah, drugs allow you to live a long time, but you'd be living in pain and suffering, and you can't enjoy life and and help everyone to make life better for them too."
Yeah. So if you go back to Kaye's story, right? What she has is the community support.
Yes.
Right. It's one of the components that actually kept her going, that kept her on the positive side. She is literally one of the most positive person I've ever met.
Correct. Yeah, exactly, right?
Like, with her circumstances, she can totally drop off the fence or whatever that saying is. Just she can totally be miserable, but she is the opposite of it. And a big part of it is community support and people that's helping her, and you have to actually accept the help.
Yeah, because she mentioned that is like, for most of us, when someone asks, "Do you need help with that?" We talk about ego, and we say, "Oh no," even though we don't know what we're doing, we're going to pretend we know what we're doing, and you get yourself in trouble. But she says, "Finally, I figured out when people are asking, do I need help? And I do, it's to accept it." And that's regardless, if you're a triple amputee or not, right? Because there's so many aspects in our lives that we can need help with. But it's not shameful to ask for help to achieve your goals, right? Because maybe it's something that you're not familiar how to do yet, but someone that's already done that, that journey. I would ask anyone that so I don't do the same mistakes, right? They already done the mistakes. Why do the mistakes and reinvent the wheel? So definitely accept the help from people that can help you achieve where you need to be.
Yeah, and then I guess one more lesson is there's always a way to do whatever it is that you want to do. So don't ever give up.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing. And like Minna said, with the social support, it's always important to have people that's going to support you and have the same vision as you. You don't want to be hanging around negative people if you're saying, "Well, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to create this awesome product," and they all think your product sucks, right? Or you're going to say, "Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a public speaker. This is what I believe in," and they don't believe in you, right? So you really want to be around people that's going to be uplifting and supporting you on your journey for to reach those goals. And and for her, her support is what really helped her along the way, I think.
So talking about all that, let's talk about you.
What about me?
Let's talk about your book.
Oh, so yes. So I was away in New York this week with Ken Rochon with Perfect Publishing, and we're celebrating a collaboration book, Becoming the Better You, and it's written with like 26 authors, and I was one of the contributing authors on, on health challenges, on life challenges. Everyone has a different story. And it's to inspire others that, you know, we all have these challenges in life, but we're able to overcome them, right? I don't want to give away what each author has, but it's definitely a life changing book to give you a better perspective that, you know, life can be tough, but someone always has it worse than you, and you can turn it around because if they can do it, you can do it too. So, we're so excited to launch that book. It was a New York Times. If you check on my post, we actually had our book on the jumbotron in Times Square, which is actually really cool. And I'm coming up with a new book, so stay tuned for that. It'll be my own book that I'm hoping to have published by April next year. Right? It was supposed to be done before the end of this year, but we pivoted. We're changing it a little bit, and it's going to be so much more awesome.
So with the new book, how are you going to achieve that?
I am going to take that in smaller chunks, right? Step by step. I already planned out the 3 sections of the book, and I'll be just writing chapter by chapter, and and getting it out there. And I already talked with the publisher. We're probably going to have 2 or 3 revisions before it's perfect. But hey, we want to get it out there, get the message out there. But just to give a little few hints, it's going to be 100-day program for everyone. So whoever's interested in 100 days to learn how to reverse your age and live to be at least 100, wait for this book.
I know you said perfect, but it's not going to be perfect.
It'll be pretty darn close by the end of the year as we complete, as we're revising the book.
Yeah, so it'd
Yes.
be a great way for the audience to know how to actually improve your health.
That's exactly right.
That's your goal?
That's my goal. Everything's going to be in little steps, and people will just do it along the way. And we figure 100 days, 100%, right? Everyone's always trying to be perfect. Well, we're going to try to get you there over 100 days.
And you mentioned you met an author and she's only 16?
Yes, I met an author. She's only 16, and we're going to have her on the show December 22nd. She has a great message to share, and it's so inspiring and she wrote her book. Oh, I'm not even going to tell you when, but she wrote her book during COVID. She has a great story why she wrote her book, and it blew my mind. I spent some time with her and her family. They're such good people, and I said, wow, I think the world needs to hear your story. So we're going to have her as a guest on the 22nd.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Awesome. So what's going to happen next week?
So next week we have Julian Ford as our guest. We're also going to be in California, so we haven't quite figured out how we're going to do this all live, but it's going to be live. We'll figure it out. I don't know where it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
It'll work. So join us back here next Friday at 7 p.m. CST. It's going to be 5 p.m. PST for us. And you can watch all episodes at watch.e360.com in the Vitality TV network. And we'd love to hear from you. So drop us your comments on our Facebook page, Chronically Healthy Life. And you can rewatch this episode on our website, chronicallyhealthylife.com, on our YouTube channel. And of course, if you have any questions, email us at anything@chronicallyhealthylife.com. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.